welcome back to another episode of the Spicy Waitress Diaries. I'm your host, Tia.
And Opal.
And today we're going to be talking about families, friendships, seeking validation, and daddy issues. Cheers. I broke a nail right before the podcast and
Show them the nail.
it's just what's going to happen today. The amount of things that go wrong before the podcast, like it's about 20 minutes of setting up.
You get a sore throat.
Yeah, how much do I cough?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So we just wanted to add as well, if you like our podcast, please give it a like, follow, and subscribe. And we really appreciate it. It does wonders for our podcast. Yep. And we can keep creating new episodes for you guys. So, Opal, I want to know how your family found out. Did you tell them? Did they find out? What was the situation there and what happened?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't going to tell them. They found out. I mean, I started in the industry really, really young. So I started...
How young?
Like 16. So when I started, I was, I shouldn't have been doing that at such a young age. Definitely molded my brain. My parents found out because my mum was going through my phone. So she found me on all these different sugar baby websites.
No.
I was 16. I'm just hustling these guys, literally scamming these guys.
Can I just ask, how is your brain? I think I was going to sleepovers and stuff. When you see those memes and it was teenagers now compared to back then. You're the teenage now, and I'm back then at the sleepovers, putting face masks on, and you're out sugar baby.
Literally swiping people's credit cards.
What made you want to go onto that first?
I liked money.
From 16, we love that. A hustler from day one.
I loved money, and the whole kind of reason I got around it was actually through a friend. She was always wanting to strip, and she was telling me about it, and she was there's these websites, and we kind of dipped our toe in a little bit and seen that the websites, you can kind of play a game. You don't have to do anything. You just can go on dates with people, and yes, it's very risky. I would never ever ever promote it to anyone, especially girls that were my age. But I should have been dead. The amount of things that I used to do, I should have been dead. We both should have been dead. Wow. But we'd always meet up with them in a public kind of restaurant.
Smart.
And
tips for that.
Yeah, then you play the game, and you kind of just get your payment for going to dinner with them. They get company, there's some pretty girls. Obviously they didn't know that we were underage.
Yeah. Well, did you have when you went out and did they get you drinks and everything?
Yeah.
And it was all
yeah, it was fine.
I guess when I go to a restaurant, I don't ever get asked for mine.
No, I do.
So how developed were you at 16?
Not that developed. Not that developed. No, there was no implants then.
Yeah, true. So how much did you make probably on a dinner? What was the most you made?
So our kind of rates for going out to a dinner that would be an hour or an hour and a half would be $200.
Puffed up. You would have been breaking it at 16.
Yeah, it was a lot of money back then. So it was it was sick. I remember going on 2 dinner dates after one after the other when we were 16, and we were we're rich.
She ate. She was full.
Yeah, literally.
Very nice. Well, we went on a little tangent there, but how did your family find out? So your mum went through your phone?
Yeah, she went through my phone, and she found stuff. I was coming home with things that I bought myself.
You weren't hiding it?
No, I wasn't hiding it well at all. And she went through my phone, and she cracked it at me, and then from there I started stripping, and then, well, not from there, I had a bit of a break, and then I started stripping when I was of age. And then from there I haven't really looked back. But in saying that, I don't have a relationship with my family. That's kind of one thing that I lost because of the path that I chose to go down, which is not great. But I mean, they're kind of very strict in their ways. So they're not willing to accept a sex worker as a daughter. And that's what pushed me to be even more independent and kind of strive on my own. And start my business and stuff, because I know that like I didn't have mummy daddy money or mummy daddy support, because in the past that I chose to go down.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot though, to have them cut you off. Was that from 18?
It was even younger. I was always kind of going out and getting a boyfriend and then moving in with that boyfriend. When I was younger, I just had this fire in me to like be an adult in a teenager's body. Yeah, it kind of led me into the sex industry and just like making money on my own and doing my own thing and then like having my own independence at such a young age. But yeah, it was quite full on. I mean, I do regret the decisions that I made when I was so young, because it does mold you. It really does, like, have an effect on your mental health. Like, you don't think certain things through. That's probably why things have an age restriction.
I'd say so. I guess it's like, that's why underage drinking is not looked at, because of what it does to you, and your brain's not fully developed, and that's why there is an age limit. And I guess seeing all those things as well at a young age, I know when I did it at 19, it's still a lot. So to start at 16, but definitely want to dive into an episode on mental health and how it has affected us. But that's like a whole large topic.
How did your parents find out that you started in the sex industry?
Mine wasn't like yours, very different, but I was started when I was 19. I remember I just wanted to do top waitressing. I remember there was this girl from where I grew up, Port Pirie, like such a country town. And there was this one girl who was, everyone would talk about her, and found out that she had done topless waitressing. And I was like, that's so cool. That would be so fun. Look how much money you can make. Very like money hungry. I was like, I want to be making money. And how much, I don't know if it's a flex or anything, but just to be like paying for things, and like all your friends are like making $25 an hour and you're like $100 an hour, $100 or $200 an hour, and it's fun. So I guess that's the addiction. But then I started, and you just start making money. Mum started seeing that I moved into a rental that was very lavish. Is that the word, lavish? And I was buying things like, I bought these shoes, which were like $500, like Nike shoes with Swarovski crystals around the edge. One of those.
That is such a stripper purchase.
Yeah, one of those things that you just look back at like, wow.
What the fuck did I buy that?
Yeah. It was actually this chick off of maths. She put them on her Instagram, and then she became an OnlyFans person. So typical. Where I remember sitting down with my family in this new rental, and my mum was just kind of always making comments like, how are you making, like, how are you buying this? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'll tell you one day, or something like that. And I made them tacos in my new place. I was like, come see the place. I was like, so I do topless waitressing, and I think I had started my business at this time, or no, I hadn't yet, sorry. And my mum just looked at me and she was like, thank God, type of thing. She's like, I thought you were a prostitute or a drug dealer. But I was just like, no, I am doing topless waitressing. And I just had to tell her, like, I'm safe. I'm with a bunch of girls that I know really well now, like typical me. Like, oh, I'm best friends with all these girls. They have my best intentions at heart. Yeah, that's pretty much how they found out. And my little brother was there. My sister was there. So I told all of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I started my company, we would have chats at dinner table. My brother was older, and we'd be like talking about squirt shows, anal shows, and my mum's like, what the hell? What have I raised? Like, and my sisters like me will say shit like that. So we're just going back and forth joking.
Yeah.
And my little brother's just sitting there like
Trying to eat dinner.
Yeah, but he's just so used to it now. He's just like, oh well. Like, it's funny when we go back and forth with that, and mum's just so accepting. Think of it. She was just like, as long as you're safe. And I think compared to Melbourne, Adelaide is a bit more chill.
Yeah.
It's very like, I could get to places in 20 minutes, and mum knew where I was, and she liked it more. She's like, if you're going to do it, I at least want to know. Yeah. So then I could tell her where I was going. So, but yeah, that's how I told my family. I kind of preferred it because it just like meant that I could go to work. I didn't have to lie, and I could not lead this double life. But and now we're here and still going and made something out of it. So she's happy with that. I want to ask though, you've got sisters as well. Since you've started a business though out of it, have they like seen it in a different light or anything?
You would think that, but no. I mean, everyone's family foundation is very different. And I feel like my mum was like, that's not the woman that I raised. And it's like, you're still a human. Just because you're doing sex work, it's still work. You're still a human. It doesn't mean, you know, you could be in the industry, be in the sex work industry, and you could be doing literally just waitressing, not even doing anything sexual, but your boobs might be out. Or you could be down the other end of the scale, which is like full sex work. I think everyone kind of tarnishes it with the same brush. And like you, I also came from country town. I was a topic of conversation in that town for like literally like months afterwards, you know, and they'd send around all my posts and this and like it was just a piss take for a while. I feel like them having to like kind of get over that. And now that I'm online and quite open with what I do as well, that's something that they were like, what the fuck? But, you know, I am who I am. I'm not going to change. Like, I'm proud of myself, and that's...
Yeah, you should be proud.
Yeah.
And you've done well and, like, built a company out of it. It's not like you're in a gutter somewhere and went down the path of, like, partying so much that you haven't done anything. And, like, you've networked. Like, we've met each other. Like, I saw how good you were at business, and it's like that should be... You don't need to prove anything to them. It's like you've done really well.
Yeah, thank you, babe. You're welcome. So how did your friendship, kind of interpersonal relationships go when you started in the industry and now?
In the industry, it was always quite rocky. So you would have one friend always at a different time. I think you would jump from friend to friend a bit, and you would befriend girls in the industry that probably didn't have your best interest at heart. Like, I did become friends with this one girl in and outside of the industry, and it was very competitive, never there for me when I needed her, always like got a boyfriend, would go to them and like
Drop you off.
Yeah, drop you off. Like, even my birthday didn't even message or come because her boyfriend was more important, and then when they break up, come running back.
Yeah.
So typical that type of vibe, very party scene. So it was hard to actually navigate who was your actual friend. I still had friendships. I did lose normal friendships due to the industry. So
they judged you?
I don't know if judged is the right word. I think drifted because of the choices I was making, and I was the bad one who was like, and they couldn't be around me because of what I was doing. And a friend at uni, a friend I made at work when I worked at Kmart. Yeah, slowly we just drifted just because I was partying too much, and then became friends with the party girls. And then those girls were a lot for my normal friends to be like, right, she's going down this path. We don't want to be in the danger zone of having any of the crap that comes with it. And even like at birthdays and stuff, you party too hard and they'd see it and be like, don't want to be around this. So definitely lost some friends there. Everything does a full circle, and now I am friends with one of those girls that I used to be friends with from uni. And friendships now, navigating them, it is a bit hard to kind of trust. I think after so long, like how long was I in the industry? 6 years. And then I moved to Melbourne from Adelaide. So it's like you got to make new friends, and it's a whole new group of people, and then you've got all these trust issues from years of toxic behavior and people pretending to like you and just using you to get things out of you. So it's been an adjustment. My lifestyle now is not very party, so you're attracting the right people. So I think now much nicer, but it is definitely who you surround yourself with is who you're going to be like.
Yeah, so true. So true.
What about you with your friends?
Yeah, I definitely I started off in the industry with all of my close friends, and then I became the boss out of that. So that was a bit tricky to kind of like go from being, kind of an equal part of working with all the girls, and then now I'm like got to tell the rules and charge comms and things like that. So that was a bit tricky, but luckily my friends were really supportive of the business and what I was trying to do. And I guess with coming from a country town as well, my friends that I had from school and from like just normal day-to-day stuff, they either had a decision to make where it was like, am I going to support you and be your friend, or am I going to judge you and talk shit about you behind your back? So like I remember there was this one girl that I thought I was friends with, and she started showing my OnlyFans videos at parties and stuff. So like, wow, yeah, like
What is big?
oh, just a real hater. But I was like, well, you paid $12.99 on Butt to watch those, so who's winning. But to be honest, like that's kind of the country people, like that's their vibe, they're very like judgmental, and I don't think a stripper coming out of fucking where I come from was going to be something that would go under the radar. Like you either were supporting me or you were hating on me, and that's how I've had to get comfortable with people not liking me. you know, like I am comfortable, especially with the blacklisting as well, with all that drama that comes out in this industry. Like you do have to realize there's jealousy, there's hatred, there's drama. Like there's going to be a lot of things that you need to get comfortable with, and being in that position where people are jealous and hate you.
That's another thing that's like a lot to deal with. That's really hard as well, because then you put a guard up, and if you're like put this front on like, no, I'm this person, this is what I want to be, and everyone's judging you, you put that wall up to be like,
oh, definitely. With me now, it's like guilty until proven innocent always. Like I will never, I'll take someone at face value, but I don't ever like in relationships and friendships, especially friendships, because I've been fucking burnt by friends before. Like I will always kind of not like them at first, and then once they prove to me and like I get kind of a judgment of their character, then I will like let them in.
That's not a bad thing though. I think that's really healthy.
No, it's just protecting yourself. Like when you have been burnt by bitchy people, that's just like your defense kind of thing.
Yeah, and although if you're just letting everyone in as well, then it's like, no wonder you're going to get burnt. And I think that's what I was doing, letting too many people in and trusting too easily. Yeah. I wish I had a bit more of a wall.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because we're both really like actually, you know, nice girls that want to see the best in our staff and want them to succeed and everything. But then we also have to take this like, you know, we are the boss. So it's like, you can't let people walk all over you in this industry. Otherwise, it's just going to be that forever.
Yeah.
You know, like these girls will take you for a ride.
Yeah, which they have. I remember just trying to navigate how to be a boss and how to be their friend at the same time. And it was one extreme to the next. And also partying didn't help. But my communication was like, if my friends did something wrong, like, oh, that's okay, like, because you want them to work for you and you're scared that if you say something, they're going to be like, fuck this. Yeah. But also being like strong in what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
it's boundaries.
Yeah. But at 21 and 19 and everything, trying to do that very hard. So the communication wasn't great. We worked it out, and you have to learn somewhere.
Yeah, we do. And we actually do have like our kind of ambassador group, which we work closely, obviously, on photo shoots and things like that now, that like we actually communicate with a lot, you know, in and out of the work scene as well. So yeah, it's finding that balance, which I feel like we found now.
Finally. Yeah. Although there are some times where I'm like, I feel like I'm a bit too soft, but then when you do try and be a bit bold, sometimes it's like with some girls, they'll just give it to you and you're like,
fire meets fire.
Yeah. And you're like, should I have done that? And you do question things, but then at the end of the day, like we both have our heads screwed on straight and not partying anymore. So it's quite easy to just see when someone's actually in the wrong and stick with your guns on what you've said. What made you want to start Top Waitressing?
Look, money was obviously the number one driver. And then obviously when you do start in the industry, it's like this gets you in a chokehold because it's like you got money, you've got attention, you've got, you know, the validation. Like when you're so young and you don't have your, you know, your personality and your confidence and your self-esteem is not built yet, like your brain's not even built yet, all this validation and like, you know, people being nice to you, you accept that so much. And I think if you have a background of maybe not having a parent figure like a dad in your life, girls can really fall into that trap. And then, you know, it goes from working and loving and craving and needing that validation that you get from work to like also that going into your like relationships as well. I know a lot of girls that don't have a father figure. Like it's that true old saying that, you know, strippers have daddy issues. Like, you know, yes and no, just a bit of truth in that. And I guess that's why I not why I started, but it's definitely what kept me there for a little bit.
Probably the same. It's like, money definitely was a drive. I actually, when I was younger, I was in front of my grandparents. I was like dancing and being stupid, and they reminded me of it. They're like, you used to dance in the backyard and be like, I'm going to be on a stripper pole and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And they like reminded me of it. And I was just always the one. I saw my nana the other day and she's like, I remember you'd be out in the pool and you'd just be stark naked and you'd be like dancing and your sister would be yelling out like, Nan, she's naked in the pool again. I swear.
You
remember. It was like, you just make anything good out of a situation. I was like, I was living my dream life. And yeah,
like my parents called me Opal. You know, like I was yesterday a stripper.
you did this to me.
Literally.
I remember we had those little, those shell things, so like bathtubs, like out. Oh, yes, yeah. I would have them. I'd be sitting in my underwear with like frozen grapes on a straw and like fake champagne, and sitting out there like, Dad, bring me my champagne. And like such a sassy little thing.
Yeah.
So I guess Mum was always kind of like, of course you had to become one. She's like, it kind of, I don't know, it was in me. But I never went down the stripper route.
Yeah.
So I never did
Dancing.
yeah, in a strip club or anything. I just did topless waitressing.
Yeah, yeah. And why did you start doing topless waitressing?
I think the money. I think I just wanted more money. I was working at Kmart for like $20, and then I heard that you can make $100 an hour, and I was like, why the hell am I doing this?
Yeah.
I'm folding clothes.
Yeah.
And you'd go to Kmart and we'd like open the bag of lollies and go sit out the back. That's what I would do at work. I'm like, what is this getting me?
Yeah.
Fat and no money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started, I think, for the money. And then when you do start, yeah, like you said, confidence and all that comes, and you just fall in love with it a bit.
Yeah.
Does come with a lot of other stuff. The seeking validation is, you always want that from men, but yeah, having it given to you all the time was very nice.
Yeah. It's almost like overstimulating how much like attention, love, and, just kind of manipulation that you get, because, like when you start, it's like, wow, these people just like put you on this massive pedestal. And like if you're working like consistently, you get used to that, and then you're like, in your personal relationships, you're like, why aren't you putting me on this pedestal as well?
Yeah.
Like it's like a deficiency now, like I need that sort of thing. But you actually need to look in your own backyard and think, whatever someone says to me at work now goes in one ear and out the other. Like you actually cannot take on board anything. And I know like our clients are going to be like, what the fuck? But, and you really can't. Otherwise you get a big head and you become this like massive arrogant person, or you fall down the trap of believing people that like they don't have any, like you said before, they don't have any right or any like right to like have any space in your head.
Yeah.
So
So as someone who is in the industry, I'd say I probably had daddy issues and like seeking validation from other men and trying to always find comfort.
honestly, like if you're a stripper and you have daddy issues, say I.
Hi.
It's just a given.
It is. And like, might be a sad topic, but like, yeah, I've lost my dad and lost him in year 12. And then I also had a stepdad who went kind of bad. And so then he was out of my life. And so year 12 was a bit traumatic, as you would say.
Definitely, yeah.
A lot to go through. And yeah, that does do stuff. And I don't even think you're aware of how it does affect you.
Yeah.
Because it's like I was sad for like 2 weeks, and I was like, right, like not very victim mentality. It was just very like, let's get shit done. Like, wouldn't want me to waste my life doing,
What a strong mind though. Like that's a really strong mindset to go into. Do you feel like you properly healed from it, or
think
something you can't heal from?
definitely now. It's been 8 years. 8 years, I'd say. Yeah. So definitely now healed, but yeah, there were so many moments where I'd get upset when I was in Adelaide and like starting out as a stripper. And I definitely like, I would look up and be like, I'm sorry. Like, moments where you're like, oh, is he looking down on me? Is this like, don't look right now. Yeah, you definitely have those moments, but I guess that's the thing with, if you don't have a strong father figure in place, that's where you can go down different routes. But I know plenty of people with stable parents where they go down the wrong path and worse than us. So it's like, at the end of the day, yes, every stripper might have a bit of daddy issues, but I don't think it's a big thing. And the seeking validation, I think every time I went to a job, you get called pretty, you get called like everyone's just looking at your body, and so yeah, you get that big head kind of, and then when you go into a relationship, if they're not doing it, like you're like, why are you not calling me pretty? Every other guy does. But it's not normal to be called pretty and gorgeous and like your body's amazing and all this that often, and we just get it so much, and then that does fuck with your head.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's you're like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, and you're always comparing because there's always other prettier girls, and when you send out that collage as well, and if you don't get picked, it's like, what's wrong with me a bit? But I think I did get picked quite a bit. I mean, it's not bad, but when you weren't, I remember being on the phone to a client once, and I like sent my collage, and I was like, "Oh, she's pretty." He's like, "Nah," and I was like, "That's me." And I was like, "Oh, that hurt, dare you?" But I know some girls who put themselves out there and are never really picked, so I can only imagine what it does do to their self-esteem. And as girls,
But what I will say, like, every single man has their type, and everyone you walk into a venue like a strip club, and like you can see the selection of girls, and it's just like everyone has their flavor, you know. Like, you will be someone's cup of tea to someone, and then to the next person, not interested.
yeah,
It's just like it's a given, and like even if you have a unique look, someone will adore that, and someone will love that. So be yourself, because like that's the prize in someone's eyes. But yeah, just know that you've got your
and keep to yourself and just be confident in you, and that's what guys really look at. Like, booked so many times where they'll book the hottest girl, but they're like, we really wish we went with the other girl because she had no personality, no confident spark, like just kind of up herself a bit. Whereas the girls who aren't that glamorous, like, are so fun and the best to be around. And it's like, the end of the day, it's more, I'd say, on personality, because you can get to a booking and the first 10 minutes you're like, she's hot, but if she's got a good personality, you got to be there for 3 hours.
yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Just look hot for 3 hours, sit there?
And I think when you like start in the industry as well, like you're walking around and you're like, fuck, these girls got hair extensions, eyelash extensions, boob jobs, no job. It starts to play in your mentality, and you're like, let's get some work done, baby. Like, nose job, boob job, like it just gets so hectic. Veneers, fucking hair extension, eyelash extensions. Like, it's like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You're making money. You see all these beautiful plastic girls around you, and then it's like, fuck, that becomes your normality, and it's almost like your standard now.
Yeah.
But like, what would you say to that? Like, stick to your personality and work on your personality more, because that's what makes money.
Well, so many guys, like when I was talking to them about getting my boobs done, they would be like, why? They're like, you don't need them done. And I think that's as much as I want them done now, but that when you talk to guys at the bookings, they don't really care about that stuff and they don't see it. And I actually heard this thing the other day, and it was like mirrors, when no one was meant to see their reflection this much. And like in the old days, it was like your reflection was only in the water, and then everyone designed mirrors and phones and Instagram, and that's when more everyone started comparing. And it's like, back then you had no one to compare to, and it was like, she said, you're not just a picture for everyone to stare at, like you're an experience for people to have. And like, no one's staring at every little thing on your body like you do. Because I bet we all wake up in the morning, go straight to the bathroom mirror, wash our face, look at everything. Oh, I've got a pimple, I've got this, oh, I need this. And it's just like, guys don't look at that. I think there are definitely some, but not all.
Not majority. And you know what? You're in a sales job. You are literally, I know you topless waitresses and it sounds bad, but you are selling an experience. So work on your spirituality, work on your confidence in yourself. Talk, like I say this all the time, practice opening liners or awkward kind of icebreakers. Practice that before you go to the job, even with a friend or in the mirror by yourself. Maybe not in the mirror, actually. But practice that so, your sales skills and techniques are better for this role.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think it's just easy money, get your boobs out, but like, we spoke about this on the last episode, when you actually master your feminine energy and your feminine power and also your sales tactics, you're just like, you're going to kill it, babe.
Yeah. I was having a conversation last night with one of our girlfriends, and we were talking about this other person who, when they talk to men, they're very like, they won't give them what they want. And it's an art to it. You need to like have some sort of manipulation a bit, but not in a bad way. It's like you work your language to them. And this other girl just has none of that. And the guys are like, nah, like you're not feeding our ego, you're not giving us what we need. And some need that, and it's like, that's fine. Like everyone needs a certain thing to feel good.
Yeah, and it's a push-pull as well.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes men, when you think about it, men are like cavemen, they're warriors, they're fucking soldiers. Like they need to feel some sort of challenge as a male. So if you give them a challenge and, you give them this push-pull attention, then cold, like that's like
the game.
It's the game, and they love that shit.
And it's fun. Like when I used to work and you'd get one of them and you'd get in the vibe with, you'd click with someone. You'd always click with someone. And it just like made the night so much more fun. And once you know how to work it, you just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
So have you met someone in the industry or at a job or something and you've started a relationship with them before?
Yeah, like there's been little ones where you have flings with people kind of in between, and you do start feeling like you're building a relationship. And then when it comes to that point where you're like, well, what is this? They're just like, well, I wouldn't date a topless waitress. And there was one that I was talking to, and like we're going out on dates, and they were kind of in the spotlight a little bit. And so as much as I am who I am and I am a good person and he liked me because I had a topless waitressing agency, because I was a topless waitress, couldn't date. Yeah, that. But then also my ex-partner, like I had to stop working for like 9 months, and I just started my company because insecure, couldn't deal with it. But as soon as like we started dating, like, yep, I'm fine with it. And then had to stop, and yeah, you can feel it that they don't like what you do, but they pull you in to get you. It's like I made it very clear, like, this is what I do. I'm doing a company. I've just started it. Like, it was very embraced my job, family knew. And then as soon as I started, like, feeling more feelings come and everything, and I didn't want to stop, he was like, made me stop. And it felt like I had to, otherwise I couldn't do anything. And then that kind of cut my money income. So then I didn't have any money. I was living at their house. I had no, like, it was very in a box.
Yeah.
And where he wanted me.
Trapped.
Yeah. And then like 9 months has passed, and I was like, nah, stuff this. Like, I'm working. I want my money. Like, my mum had always brought me up, like, have your own money. Don't rely on someone else's, because at the end of the day, they could just drop you like that. And then what do you have? And yeah, that was the feeling of feeling guilty for going to work, like being called a slut and being called a whore, and kind of opening up about things to them, about stuff that had happened in the industry that wasn't so pleasant, and then getting pushed to the side about it and called names, and then it brought up in fights. And it's like,
oh, they love to bring it on their ass, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They think you're like amazing, you're this hustler, you're this, you're that. And then when it comes to like an argument, nah, you're a slut, you're a whore, you're this, you're that. Like,
all the names under the sun.
yeah, it's like they harbor their true feelings, like what we do.
They have a mask on.
Yeah.
And I always thought, I'm like, you chased me so much, and then you got me, and I'm like a flower pot, and then you just put me in the corner, and you didn't water me, and you got what you wanted, and you manipulated to get what you wanted, and then now it's all about control. And narcissist, and when they can't control, they just get so angry, and then they lash out, and then that's when all this internal rage, which is they put a mask on at the start, and then it comes off.
And don't get me wrong, we hear a lot of stories about, like, obviously we have girls, they get in a relationship, they fall off, and then we don't have them as workers anymore, which is fine. We understand it's a circle of life. But we can kind of see, I can see, I've watched relationships start like that and been in
a relationship like that for myself, where it's like they are so accepting. They even like hype you up as this like, you know, go-getter hustler that, you know, just takes on the world. And then like you said, when the feelings get even more stronger, it becomes like, oh no, like I would never want my woman being naked around other men, which I get it. Like I get that's so fair enough. Like if you're protective and this and that, that's fine. But when we start off and it's clear as day what we're doing, how do you come in later and have the right to tell me what to do from then? You know, it's just, it's not fair. Like I won't accept it.
No, I think there's a part of them that they're like, when you're the boss, you'll gradually get out of it.
Yeah. Date for the potential of something else.
Yeah. It's like, no, date for the person of who they are, not who they could be.
Yeah.
Because you're just wasting each other's time.
Yeah.
And especially like I've always been upfront with what I do. And so have you in your relationships. And it's like, they're the ones hiding it, but then we're the ones that get yelled at.
Yeah.
It's like, I wasn't playing games with you. I was very upfront. You knew everything. Like I was always honest about it. And then now I'm the one getting yelled at.
Yeah, the things that you're honest about in that relationship, they will then like a couple weeks down the track, they turn it on you and throw it in your face and make you feel like a slut and disgusting and you know, a whore. But realistically, like there's girls out here doing the most for guys that they just met in bars like 10 minutes ago, and they're out here doing it for free. And sex workers are, you know, getting paid in a safe environment. They're safe. They've got an agent that knows where they are. You know, a lot of sex workers go through a process of, you know, checking their client and making sure that they are clean and safe. So,
and it's done like it's organized type of thing. And then, yeah, so many girls going out on the weekend, getting drunk, getting smashed, and then going home with a guy. And it's like, then she'll get a boyfriend, no worries. But it's like, because of what we do and it's in the light and everyone can see it, I'm like, well, you don't know how many guys that girl's slept with.
yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
her body count's probably 10 times higher than mine, but you're framing me as a slut, which is, that's like kind of definition of a slut, like how many people you've been through.
Yeah.
But because I get my boobs out and just talk to guys and earn money that way, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, I will never, ever date a man that I meet at work again. Never.
Please don't.
Mark my words. I will
Okay, everyone listen to this. Hold her accountable right now.
The gods. Don't send me another one. Honestly.
Please don't. I think though, like your past relationship, it does, as much as it's horrible to go through that stuff, it takes a toll on your creative side. It takes a toll on how you run your business. And at the end of the day, it's like, we have something to do. We have something that we're working on. And when that person is like so negative, so toxic, and you're just like losing yourself and not being you, it's like, I could see it, and like no more of that. No more of that.
No.
There are good ones out there, just hiding. Not at the club. Don't find one at the club. But well, thank you everyone for listening to our podcast today. I've had a great time talking about this. I actually love bringing up all the old stuff.
I know, it's hilarious.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and give us a follow. It does wonders for our podcast and means that we can just bring you more. So thank you.
Amazing, guys. See you on the next episode.
Mwah.